Namaste and welcome to Urban Chatterati. This is Abhinav Prakash. And today I have with me Kushal Mehra to discuss a very interesting report by Pew Research Center, which is titled Religion in India, Tolerance and Segregation. We will see what the report says, how it breaks the stereotype and the recent propaganda about India, both in the media and academia. So, Kushal, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Abhinav. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And I think this report is so unique that we're going to have a discussion on your channel. Then I'm going to call you on my channel because there's just too many things that we need to discuss. So तुम्हारे प्रश्नों का उत्तर यहाँ दिया जाएगा, मेरे प्रश्नों का उत्तर वहाँ दिया जाएगा. It's. I think this report has opened up so many sociological phenomena in India that we need to dissect this report. Now, the a priori assumption being that we are taking their data at face value. I mean, I am always, all reports have, a variation of plus or minus 5%. ठीक है, माना. But the point is, even if it is minus 5% or plus 5%, the the consequences of this report are so many-fold that one session is never going to be enough. And even if you do it on your podcast once with me, I do it once, it's not going to be enough. We're going to have to go on looking at this as a source material for, I think, months to come.
Exactly. And this is a very interesting report. And this is what we keep saying that social sciences in India are being done in a vacuum without an empirical basis. So you see the social science in India in the places like Tata Institute, JNU, they're all ideological mumbo jumbo propaganda, assumptions being passed as facts and so on. And there is too little empirical work. And this time we have some empirical work. People can question the methodology, but at least they have done a survey. So going to start by asking you, what is the broad picture this report paints about India?
So my first point, as far as this report is concerned, is that this report will break each and every ideological camp's heart in some way or the other. So let us go one by one, right? So maybe then we can, share the screen and do some charts maybe after a bit. But and I want to hear your views out too on this. And according to me, the number one loser in this report is your hardline Marxists, hardline Jholawalas, hardline, hardline secularists. Their heart is going to be broken the most. Because they pay. See, what are the narratives painted by these people? Indian minorities feel very insecure. Indian minorities खतरे में हैं. Most of them feel under pressure. भाई रिपोर्ट तो कुछ और बोलती है. Indian minorities के बारे में. The best part is they're so proud to be Indian. ऐसे सीधा ठोक के 90%, 92% वाले बोलते we are so proud to be Indian. We are celebrating India. So I don't know. So सबसे, I think, so let us go by that. The biggest loser. The biggest loser in this entire episode is, I think, the Marxist Jhola Chap camp. The second biggest loser in this is what I call the center left. The center left that overrated the penetration of secular thought in India. Now, I'm not using this as a pejorative, so let me be categorical here. I don't think the secularism that is practiced in France or America is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. The secularism in India is a pure unadulterated evil, but even there are decent secularists in India. So even their estimation of Indians are very secular. This breaks that myth. India is a no, and now you can use the word. So let me be very clear. The definition of religion here is basically beliefs in some sort of organized supernatural claim, is what I'm talking about. If you use this loose definition, this report clearly says that so-called claim of even center left or center right secularists is totally demolished. Indians are uber religious, and they even believe in practicing their religion in some sort of a, like, if you remember those points in the survey where puja or some sort of ritual, belief in a particular deity, xyz. See, the third biggest loser in this survey is the Indian judiciary. And this is a very technical, philosophical point, according to me. The Indian judiciary understands Indians and Indian jurisprudence in a very Victorian, in a very Abrahamic way. This report is a proof that Indian society is very dharmic. Look at how, I mean, for example, let us share this chart. So let us share this one. Now, what can we draw from this, Abhinav? ये वाला chart देखें, ठीक है? Indians feel they have religious freedom, see respecting all religions as a core value. Now, look at the irony, Abhijit. Abhinav, I'm going to take you to the title of this report, right? अभी इस रिपोर्ट की टाइटल क्या कह रही थी? इस रिपोर्ट की टाइटल कह रही थी टॉलरेंस वर्ड उन्होंने यूज किया, ठीक है? Now look at the irony here. Now what is the mistake being done in the word tolerance and respecting all religions? Tolerance does not mean respecting all religions. This is where the creators of the report are using the Abrahamic lens, because what can Abrahamism give you, Abhinav? It can only give you tolerance. Tolerance se zyada my God is the only true God cannot give you, because wo kya kehte hain? Abrahamic say, my God is the only God, my prophet is the only prophet. Monopolistic religiosity can only tolerate the other side. But look at the dharma spilled all over in this chart. Look at it. What does this chart say? Indians feel they have religious freedom, see respecting all religions as a core value. Who says all religions should be respected? I wonder who says that. Which ideology says that? There is only one ideology in the world that says all religions should be respected. Each and every idea should be respected. Everything should be allowed to prosper. And look at the numbers here. Lo and behold, not to my surprise, they are free to practice their religion. Hindus say the maximum. Muslims, Christians, udhar to sub easily almost hai. I'm surprised Jains are the lowest along with Sikhs. It is very weird, but it's okay. I'll take it at face value. But see, respecting all religions is very important to be truly Indian. 85%, 78%, 78%, 81%, 84%, 83%. This is what I call, see, everybody says Abrahamism of the Hindu mind. Nobody talks about the dharmification of the Abrahamic mind in India. You know what this is? Forget this. Forget this. Forget this. ये नीचे के तीन और ये, इनको भूल जाओ. ये दोनों. अब आप बाइबल उठाओ और आप कुरान उठाओ. This number is directly a rejection of core tenets of Abrahamism, because Abrahamism cannot and does not say respecting all religions is truly important. It does not. Acha, ye to chodo. Look at the irony of the third chart. Respecting other religions is a very important part of their religious identity. Ye kaun sa churan bech rahe ho? So think about it, Abhinav. I'm going to stop the screen share now. Just think about it. ये किसका influence है Indian society के ऊपर? I want to ask this question to everyone. This is one of the first charts of this report, and when I went through this report, I started cracking up. मैं हंसना शुरू हो गया. मैं हंसा क्यों? मैंने बोला, अरे बाप रे, सीताराम येचुरी, इतने आपके नाम में सीताराम, लिटरली कड़क आपके रगों में सीताराम, हर जगह सेतुराम है. कम्युनिस्ट हार गए, हिंदुत्व जीत गया. ये हिंदुत्व की जीत है जो इस देश के डीएनए में आज भी है. इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि हमें चौकन्ना नहीं होना है. चौकन्ना होना है, क्योंकि यही रिपोर्ट में चौकन्ना करने वाले पॉइंट्स भी हैं. मगर पॉइंट ये है कि इट इज क्रिस्टल क्लियर that the overarching dharmic narrative, the dharmic idea of sapekshata, not nirpekshata. This is the difference. I purposely use a Sanskrit word because English में इसका कोई equivalent ही नहीं है. And mutual respect and reciprocity, these are core dharmic values. This slide proves that.
Exactly. And also there was something very interesting in the report, Kushal, that the people who are more likely to identify themselves as Hindu nationalists and who are the BJP voters, they are the largest group who support religious diversity in India. And this is something which I have been arguing for a very long time. I remember writing an article as well in Hindustan Times that
Yes, I remember.
the Hindutva movement in India sees itself as the guardian of diversity of this land. It does not seeks to homogenize the people. It it seeks to protect the whatever is left of India from the same fate which has befallen the eastern and the western plank of the subcontinent, which is like very homogeneous now. So how do you see that? That flies against all the propaganda in the recent years about Hindu majoritarianism, Hindutva fascism, and whatnot.
So you know what? To explain that, Abhinav, again, I'm going to share another screen, and I'm going to be asking for the forgiveness of your viewers because I'm going to be sharing a lot of screens in this little video of ours because it's very important. Now look at this slide because it's very important to your point. India's religious groups generally see themselves as very different from each other. और इसके पहले हमने क्या स्लाइड देखी थी? It is very important to respect all religions, and by and large, most Indians believe in that. Only in a country like India will a larger chunk, a humongous chunk of the population say, yes, we are different. We celebrate difference. There is a difference. People who believe in mutual respect celebrate difference. People who believe in tolerance झेलोफाई डिफरेंस. वो झेलते हैं डिफरेंस को. एब्राहमिक कंट्रीज डिफरेंस को टॉलरेट करती हैं. हम डिफरेंस को सेलिब्रेट करते हैं और ये है उसका प्रूफ. दिस इज द प्रूफ वेयर जस्ट लुक एट इट कि most, I mean, whether it's Hindus, whether it's Muslims, yes, the numbers do vary. I mean, the numbers in Muslims are obviously a little higher, which is natural. That's natural. And the same is with Hindus. Look, I mean, a lot in common with Hindus amongst Muslims is 29%, and very different from Hindus is 64%, right? And in Hindus, a lot in common with Muslims is 23%, and 66% say they are different. But having said that, both the groups say we respect other religions, and respecting other religions is very important. This is the classic case. But the question we need to ask is now comes your question is, भैया ये हो कैसे सकता है? How can this psychological, अभी imagine a person born and raised in the West looking at this survey, and वो तो अपना सर ऐसे कर लेगा, बोलेगा ये किस किस्म की जमात है, ये क्या लोग है, एक तरफ एक बोलते हैं, एक तरफ एक बोलते हैं, बिकॉज उनका माइंडसेट इब्राहिमिक है. इसी जगह में आता है अभिनव हिंदुत्व. एंड दिस इज द रीजन हिंदुत्व binds India together, because Hindutva does not believe in devouring the other. Hindutva celebrates diversity. All Hindutva says is एक territorial integrity है, कुछ non-negotiables हैं, like we will not allow any inch or centimeter of India to be broken. ठीक है. And चलो नॉर्थ ईस्ट के हिंदूज को बीफ खाना है, साउथ के हिंदूज को बीफ खाना है, फॉर एग्जांपल. एंड दिस पोल शोज दैट वेरी क्लियरली दैट वो जो 30% हिंदू हैं जो कहते हैं बीफ नहीं खाना है, मतलब बीफ खाना है, वो क्लियरली नॉर्थ ईस्ट और साउथ में है. मगर ऐसा भी कोई नहीं है कि सिविल वॉर चालू है इंडिया में, उसकी वजह से भाई हम रहते हैं. हमने थोड़ा बहुत, जिसको कहते हैं ना कि वो मुंबई में मराठी का एक वर्ड है, उसको बोलते हैं एडजस्टमेंट को मांडवली बोलते हैं. मांडवली करके रखिए भाई, तू ये स्टेट में आएगा तेरे को नहीं खाने देंगे, तू वो स्टेट में जाएगा तो हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. तो स्टेट्स को, व्हाट हैज इंडिया डन विद बीफ? इंडिया हैज डाइवल्ज्ड द राइट्स टू द स्टेट्स, ideally, because Indian Hindutva recognized that Hindus are diverse, and they said okay, ये इनको खाना है खाने दो, ये स्टेट्स में नहीं खाना नहीं खाने देंगे, यहाँ पे लॉ पास करेंगे हम. So look at the irony of the situation where if, and now I come to my beginning statement where I have to talk about who's the biggest winner in this report. If you ask me, the biggest winner of this report is the Hindutva camp. Because if Hindutva is fascist, Abhinav, as it is said, if Hindutva is devouring, if Hindutva hates any kind of diversity, Hindutva की image क्या है? They want to destroy all religions. They want to destroy all other languages. They want to destroy everything. How can the same group be the biggest defender of diversity and plurality in India? I mean, come on. You can't have it both ways, right? You can't be one and the other at the same time.
Yeah, true. But the report also tells something about India, that India is a very conservative country. when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to marriages, when it comes to food practices, when it comes to marrying outside your community, and so on. So, what does it mean for the political language in India? You see many parties speak this abstract language of constitutional patriotism and whatnot. I find it laughable. I don't think there is any such thing as constitutional patriotism. It's just a fig leaf to hide all those kind of Tata Institute of Social Science kind of work asking for balkanization of India. But what does it mean for the political language deployed by many parties in this country?
Look, I think we are not I was not surprised that India is a by and large ultra religious society. If you don't want to use the word religious, is spiritual use kar lo, or a society that leans to supernatural beliefs. There are multiple takeaways from this. Takeaway number one is it shows that until a society does not industrialize, these things are very common. And this is the biggest proof that India is a pre-industrial society, is because the trends of religiosity. But here's the problem, and somebody will rightfully correct me, because the same poll shows even educated Indians are itna hi religious. According to this poll, even Indians who have gone through the education process are equally religious. So I don't know what the reasons for that is. I think maybe we need deep sociological analysis of that, because I was shocked when I saw the difference, percentile difference between
Basically, we
education.
need Indian social sciences, not the
Yes,
garbage coming from the American
yes,
universities.
yes. That was the shock to me. Secondly, I am not surprised at an evolutionary level that people don't want to marry outside their community. I'll tell you why. A society that celebrates diversity and is very comfortable with diversity will tend to have endogamy in a very weird way, according to me. Endogamy ends when somebody is trying to devour the other, when there is an overarching narrative, or endogamy ends when there is humongous financial growth and humongous urbanization, and then endogamy will end. I think Indian endogamy will end when India becomes urban, even more urban and even more richer. That's when it will end. It will still retain its diversity, but I think the current reason for a lot of people wanting to marry within their groups, even within their caste identities, if I was to be very open about it, I think lies in the reason that India is a poor country still. क्या है income 2300 से $2500 ही है ना. I don't think so these numbers will hold in that subject that you're asking me. If India say reaches $10,000, then these lines will become very, very fluid.
Yeah, but what does it mean for, let's say, if we can call him political leader, but people like Rahul Gandhi, who are deploying all kind of woke language? What does it mean by these Hindu phobic wonders like Kavita Krishnan? For them, some maximalist position, extreme position, which are always anti-Hindu position. In fact, no recognition of anti-Hindu bigotry or violence. What does it mean by for their politics, basically?
Dekho, more than that, I think for their politics, this is the death blow, Abhinav. This chart. Vast majority of Indian Muslims say Indian culture is superior. I mean, do you think anything else can defeat Kavita Krishnan, Rahul Gandhi, and that entire Jamaat?
Hmm.
Nothing defeats them more than this.
Hmm.
Completely agree 63%, mostly agree 22%.
Hmm.
And I mean, look, the least is completely disagree.
Hmm.
2% of Indian Muslims completely disagree that vast majority of India's Muslims say Indian culture is superior. Are we saying Indian culture is Islamic culture? No. What is the vast majority of Indian culture? It's
Hindu
Hindu
culture.
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, so to answer your question, their anti-Hindu bigotry is based on the assumption
Hmm.
that Muslims hate India. और क्या बोलूं मैं अभिनव, और कुछ हो सकता है क्या उसका असम. The only a priori assumption is that. Now, that a priori assumption is false where Muslims hate India. But I'll tell you where I am worried, but Kavita Krishnan and Rahul Gandhi's politics is spot on, is here. This is where they are spot on. They got this one right. Muslims in India support having access to their own religious codes. This is a very worrying trend, Abhinav. Look at all the other religions and look at Muslims. All the other religions are by and large in that 25 to 33% range, which is a minority. But Muslims may, it is a majority number. So point number one, comrades and comrade light version, which is Rahul Gandhi and Kavita Krishnan. Rahul Gandhi is comrade light, Kavita Krishnan is comrade. So those people got this one right. And we should be extremely scared and disappointed that these are the trends with Muslims in India, which shows that the project of modernization, I don't know what word should I use, Abhinav. I don't have any other word. So if somebody has a better word, please correct me in the comment section. Modernization has seeped into every other polity in India, but it has not seeped into Indian Muslims till the extent. And this is a very worrying sign, if you ask me.
I think that's a worldwide trend that the Muslims have by and large registered modernity, and they have defied it. And in fact, have been, even in Western countries, have been successful in advancing their own Sharia and their own, worldview as the legitimate or as equal to the modern systems. But this graph which you showed us,
Mhm.
doesn't it defies or belies the other graphs we are seeing?
No, it doesn't. I think, in my view, it doesn't.
Hmm.
Indian Muslims have a dual side to them. They love India. They love it to stay in India, but they also love their religion equally. It just shows that when it comes to that, they are too devout. Now, let me be very clear. This poll says that they want civil Sharia. They don't want criminal Sharia. Let's be very clear. क्रिमिनल शरिया का अगर पोल किया होता तो नंबर्स गिर जाते थे.
No, but there's one thing. If they want Sharia law, which basically they want an Islamic state as well. So the support for an Islamic state is very high. We can indirectly infer it from this graph.
I don't know if that
If
I
they are
would
just so
infer that.
attached to Sharia, under what circumstances Sharia can be fully implemented under an Islamic state? So was there any question asking them about the Islamic state?
No, I don't think so. It was there. Yeah, the only thing is they 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 wanted to see. This chart explains why that chart is there. So most Indians have a strong connection to their religion. Now, Abhinav, you have to understand, a human being who believes in religious values will be as good as the religious value. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, you know how they say a fundamentalist of a religion is as good as the fundamentals of the religion. So I think this chart explains that chart.
And this chart is very interesting, which shows Christians are more likely to pray daily than the Muslims. In fact, Muslims and Hindus, there are hardly any difference.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the atheism?
Now, I want to talk about that bit also, and that is where this particular study, I think, get some things wrong. And I'll share the chart again. So let's look at this chart. So look at this. 1/3 of Indian Buddhists do not believe in God. So there
Which
is
is very fine, natural for the Buddhists, right?
So they say 3% of Indians do not believe in God, 2% of Hindus, 6% of Muslims, 2% of Christians, 6% of Sikhs, 33% of Buddhists, and 1% of Jains. Now I have my own answer for this, and I'll tell you why this question is framed in a way and why the answer is skew. Buddhists in India understand Buddhism far better than Jains in India understand Jainism. Think about it. Abhinav, Jainism does not believe in a god at a fundamental theological scriptural level. Jainism is an atheistic religion, and 82% Jains say with certainty there is a god. ये कौन सा Jainism है? ये कौन सा Jainism है? इसका मतलब Jains के ऊपर किसका influence है? Hinduism का influence है. Secondly, 43% Buddhists say there is a god for sure. उधर भी Buddhism is agnostic on the question of a god. See, I can say this with certainty. I'm a guy who studies religions. वो मेरा
काम है, मैं रिलीजन पढ़ता हूँ। सिखों में कोई सरप्राइज नहीं है, 6% कहते हैं विथ लेस सर्टेनिटी दैट। हिंदुओं में वो जो 2% डू नॉट बिलीव इन गॉड है ना, वो है मार्क्सिस्ट, वो है मार्क्सिस्ट। अभी मेरे जैसे लोग, अच्छा इमेजिन करो, मुझे अगर ये लोग बोलते थे, मुझे अगर बोलते थे तो मैं तो 18% में आता था ना विथ लेस सर्टेनिटी। अच्छा मुझे ये बोलते थे डू यू कंसिडर यू टू बी एन एथीस्ट और अ हिंदू, मैं तो हिंदू बोलता था, मैं तो अपने आप को एथीस्ट नहीं बोलता था, मगर क्या मैं भगवान में कुछ मानता हूं? नहीं। तो पॉइंट इज हिंदूज में ये नंबर हमेशा स्क्यूड होगा, बिकॉज हिंदूज में वो जो गॉड और नो गॉड, इन ग्रुप आउट ग्रुप जो डाइकोटमी है वो है नहीं। It does not exist in Hindus. That's why the number in Hindus will always be skewed. Look at how many Muslims don't believe in a God. 6%. अबे 6% लोग तो एथीस्ट है तुम्हारे में, मुसलमानों में, इंडिया में। भाई मेरे, उनको ढूंढो, उनको जगाओ, उनको जगाओ। और 12% विथ लेस सर्टेनिटी मतलब एग्नोस्टिक होंगे वो लोग। ओ बाबा, दिस इज अ ह्यूमंगस नंबर। almost 18% of Indian Muslims are either agnostic or atheistic. और कौन सी दुनिया में रह रहे हो मेरे भाइयों?
But why the number is so high in among the six, you know?
सिखों में नंबर ज्यादा होने का कारण भी वही है जो बाकियों में है। आई थिंक सिखों में भी एक थोड़ी सी मोनोथियस्टिक फ्रेमवर्क है, सो उनमें हो सकता है। बाकी टू मी द ओनली शॉक इन दिस एंटायर चार्ट वाज जैन्स। जैनो, अपना धर्म तो पढ़ लो। अपना धर्म भी नहीं पढ़ रहे हो बराबर से। आई मीन विकिपीडिया भी कर लोगे तो फर्स्ट वर्ड होएगा जैनिज्म इज अ एथियस्टिक रिलीजन, इट बिलीव्स इन नो गॉड। सो आई डोंट नो, इट वाज वेरी, दिस शोज दैट how deeply the Indian conceptualization of God and India's identity of God is enmeshed in our culture.
But that's very true. You see the almost 77% of the Muslims believe in karma, which is completely against the Islamic theology.
अरे वही तो बोल रहा हूँ, सबसे ज्यादा कुफ्र तो वो है। अच्छा ये देख, ये वाला चार्ट देखो, most Hindus and some members of other groups there is one God with many manifestation. अभी लोगों को समझ पड़ेगा what Hinduism is. It is not polytheism, it is panentheism. Polytheism नहीं है. So this is an important.
Look at the number of the Muslims, many manifestations. Christians, I mean, it's amazing number. It's amazing number.
See, this shows I'm telling you that, you know, a lot of times when people have the fear that, you know, oh what is happening, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, ऐसे हो रहा है, ऐसे हो रहा है। अभी जैसे मैंने वो कहा था ना, ये से रिलीजियोसिटी भी बड़ी अजीब है इंडिया में। इट इज कंसिस्टेंट अक्रॉस सोशियो इकोनॉमिक लेवल्स मेरे भाई, अक्रॉस सोशियो इकोनॉमिक लेवल्स में रिलीजियोसिटी है। बॉस, दिस इज द मॉडल इंडिया हैज शोन द वर्ल्ड। भैया रिलीजियोसिटी विद मॉडर्निटी हो सकती है।
But we have no modernity as of yet, Kushal, so I don't buy that line.
No, but boss, we know we can do it. We have it. We have it in us. India is slowly but surely showing to the world that you can have religiosity and modernity simultaneously. But the caveat is it has to be a largely Hindu society. It has to be a largely Hindu society. I mean, I am not surprised. जैसे एक चार्ट था उसमें respecting elders is a keen national value. I mean, it is there. But let us go to the thing that you were talking about. That is the most hilarious part. I mean, blasphemy all over the place. In karma, 77% Muslims believe in karma.
27% in reincarnation.
In fate. अच्छा ये छोड़ो, 26% मुस्लिम बिलीव करते हैं द गंगा हैज द पावर टू प्यूरिफाई.
Christian is 32, which is very interesting. 6 is understandable, Jains is understandable, Hindus of course. I mean, this will give new impetus to Tablighi Jamaat and other Puritan evangelical church कि भी काम अधूरा है भारत में. We have to make them Muslims. वो जो फासिस्ट पोएट था, क्या नाम था उसका, इकबाल.
हाँ.
तो इकबाल का नहीं कि हिंदुस्तान के मुस्लिमा को मुसलमान कर दे. You know, Allah is praying that at least make the Muslims of India true Muslims.
सर यार ये तो मुझे किस्सा याद दिलाता है. मैंने आज ये श्याम शर्मा के साथ पॉडकास्ट पे भी बोला था कि यार ये किस्सा है ना, जब हम जाते थे स्लम्स में एक्टिविज्म करने के लिए, मैं और मेरा ग्रुप, तो फूड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन और डेवलपमेंट और स्लम्स में, तो मुझे आज तक नहीं भूलेगा, जय भीम की एक मीटिंग थी. उधर उनका बुद्धिस्ट मंक था ऊपर टेबल पे
पोडियम पे बैठ के बोल रहा था, अरे तुम लोगों को कितनी बार बोला है दिवाली नहीं मनाने का, और नीचे लोगों का है ना एक्सप्रेशन था जैसे चोरी छुपे हम तो मनाएंगे भाई. It was very funny. And then I asked them afterwards कि तुम लोग क्यों ऐसा करते हो, दिवाली क्यों मनाते हो? बोलते हैं यार वो भी हमारा है, ये भी हमारा है, हम उधर भी खाना खाएगा, इधर भी खाना खाएगा.
This is how India is. So, and I've told this thing many a time that 2014 के election के पहले there was this guy who used to run कुछ Buddhist Sangh and all those things. And before election of 2014, his exact words were, if Modi does not win this time, and if Sonia Gandhi comes again, हम हिंदू बर्बाद हो जाएंगे. And he was the Adhyaksh of the local Buddhist mandal. I don't know, but this is how it is.
अच्छा, ये कितना हास्यास्पद है. देखो दिवाली कितने लोग बनाते हैं. अच्छा, सबसे बड़ा तो शौक है ना मुझे इसमें मुसलमान और क्रिश्चियन का नहीं है यार. जो खालिस्तानी है ना, हाय मेरे खालिस्तानी भरावों ते पहनो, कनाडा में जाएंगे ना, बोले ओ भाई साहब असी ते दिवाली नहीं मनाते, सानू ते दिवाली नहीं मनानी है. जरा इधर नजरे करम करिए, 90% सिख इंडिया में दिवाली मनाते हैं. तो सत्यानाश हो तुम्हारे खालिस्तान प्रोजेक्ट का. उधर भी मिट्टी पलीद हो गई उनकी. सी बाय एंड लार्ज इस देश के लोग अपने आप को हिंदू नहीं कहना तो सनातनी मानते हैं मेरे भाई. मतलब वो सनातनी है, उनकी आइडेंटिटी सनातनी है, उनकी डीएनए में सनातन धर्म है. अरे मेरे जैसे आदमी में भी है यार जो भगवान में नहीं मानता है, तो वो कौन से डिफरेंट हैं. अच्छा, एक और चार्ट अभिनव जिसके ऊपर हमें विस्तार से चर्चा करनी चाहिए, वो था ये जो लोग हमेशा होमोजेनाइज करते हैं, डिफरेंस बिटवीन पाकिस्तानी, बांग्लादेशी एंड इंडियन मुस्लिम्स. देखो ये डिफरेंस, ये मैटर करता है. डिफरेंस देखो परसेंटाइल में. जब मैं ये कहा था, मैंने आपके पॉडकास्ट पे भी कहा है, आई हैव सेड इट मेनी टाइम्स कि इंडियन मुस्लिम्स आर यूनिक, they are different, we should not club them with Pakistani and Bangladeshi Muslims. Yes, the differentiating factor between them and the Pakistani Muslims is majority Hindus. जब तक इंडिया मेजॉरिटी हिंदू रहेगा, इंडिया के मुस्लिम यूनिक रहेंगे, क्योंकि उनके ऊपर वो हिंदू छत्र छाया रहती है, हिंदू इन्फ्लुएंस रहती है. ये चार्ट, या तो ये सारे चार्ट झूठे हैं, नहीं तो ये चार्ट को भी आपको फेस वैल्यू पे लेना पड़ेगा. लुक एट द डिफरेंस, इट इज ह्यूमंगस. Which is why I always say, if you want India to stay plural, if you want India to stay how it is, you have to fight for India's demographic dividend and fight for India to remain majority Hindu. For the sake of Indian Muslims, India has to remain majority Hindu.
Lots of people will come after you for this statement.
I don't care.
But let's move away from religion and talk about attitudes towards the democracy.
Yes.
It seems that almost equal number of people are really not happy with the, let's say, the kind of messed up democracy we have. They want a strong leadership. Even if it's a democracy, they want a strong leadership. Basically, they don't want liberal democracy anymore. And maybe I think they never wanted it.
I think I'm trying to find that chart, Abhinav, so that, if we bring that chart up, we could have that discussion with data much better. रुको मैं जरा वो सर्च करता हूँ, if I can. Yeah, Indians' views on democracy, right? Okay, let me put that chart up. This one. So you're talking about this chart, right? Democratic form of government and leader with a strong hand. Now, this is my take on this. Democratic form of government and leader with a strong hand का मतलब ये नहीं होता है कि one side wants dictatorship and the other side wants democracy.
Yeah.
It could be that this shows the failure of the Indian state in the 70 years, which has failed its citizenry, which it has failed in giving them police reforms, it has failed in giving them judicial reforms, it has failed in giving them law and order. तो अभिनव, जिस देश में न्याय नीति और दंड नीति नहीं होगी, तो वो तो यही मांगेगा ना. ना न्याय नीति है इस देश में, ना दंड नीति है. देखो, अगर इंडियंस लव्ड डिक्टेटरशिप,
then why the hell did they punish Indira Gandhi after the emergency? They should have embraced her with both hands.
Arey Baba, they punished her because of Nasbandi, na, not for dictatorship.
जो भी है, they punished her because they did not like it. They did not like it. Hindus and Muslims equally punished her. It is not that one person punished her more and another person less.
Because of Nasbandi, Baba, I'm telling you, it was only Nasbandi, nothing else.
मगर नसबंदी तो संजय गांधी जी सिर्फ मुसलमानों की करा रहे थे ना.
नहीं, सबकी हो रही थी. तो but this is very interesting. It tells you that India is a conservative society. Liberal democracy does not work in India, and I've been saying it for a very long time, Kushal, that liberal democracy in India is a failure. People think that, oh, how can you say this thing as if it's some kind of blasphemy? But it is a failure. People don't believe in liberal democracy. Perhaps some variant of Chinese model will work better for India.
I don't know if some variant of Chinese model will work better for India. I think what India, see, if India was a liberal democracy, then this democracy would not have said that we believe in diversity, because people who like strong leaders don't believe in diversity in general. Indians love diversity, and Indians also at the same time like big state. Why? Because poor societies usually tend to like big states. I mean, take this for example.
I know what you're pointing out. Yeah.
I mean, this has to be the stupidest thing for anybody to want in this world, that you want the state to interfere in religious affairs. I thought it was all about leave me the hell alone. No, Indians are like, nahi, tu interfere kar meri life mein. Please, tu ghus mere andar, ghus meri zindagi mein. See, India mein kya hai ki, see, I think liberalism, modernity, freedom, these come after financial progress. I think India is still, if you ask me, very, very open and plural, in spite of being so poor. Look, this survey is not a surprise. India is a democracy because India is Hindu. I mean, it's clear, because Hinduism has nothing, no such ekdam major intellectual level clash with democratic form of government. So Hindus are very fine. हाँ ठीक है, उसको change करके इसको किया, मेरे को तो मेरा जो करने को मिल रहा है ना, तो मैं खुश हूँ. This is the takeaway from this entire thing.
But such a blow to constitutional patriots and the Vokes, that India is not secular because you've written some word in constitution. India is secular because of its own inherent culture.
Yeah, and look, I think India is not secular. India is plural, and India does not celebrate secularism. India celebrates pluralism.
There is not a single word for secularism in any of the Indian language. There is none. There is none. No one can find it.
Yeah. So this is.
There's lots of words for plural thought and diversity and all, but none for secularism.
Yeah, and I agree. I think people have often confused pluralism with secularism. What India has is pluralism. What India does not have is real secularism. What India thinks is secularism is authoritarianism and groupthink.
What India thinks is secularism is Abrahamism.
Yeah, and I don't agree with that. I am opposed to the Indian secularism. I have always said I am opposed to that. What I want is a small state, a state that believes in a hawkish state when it comes to national security. But other than that, by laissez-faire rakho, free market rakho, maze karo life mein kind of a state.
Pakka, you are the model right-winger in the Western sense. But Kushal, your final comments on the report.
I think this report was an eye-opener for me at a personal level. It clearly showed how woefully wrong each group is in India in a different way. I think Hindutva comes off as the biggest winner in this report, and I can qualitatively and quantitatively prove it through this report, and I will over the next few months. I think this report shows Dharma is alive and kicking. I think this report also shows that if we want to build a social science model on the basis of this, and I can promise everyone of the viewer of this podcast, I know I'm going to work on it now. This report has been like a boon to me, a person like me. I can build so many theories based on Indian philosophy using the data of this report. and I can present them to people through my podcast. नहीं लेंगे तो नहीं लेंगे, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, मगर कम से कम डाल तो दूंगा. But I think I have now found the one thing that I needed. Now I have the data. Now I can work around it. So that would be my last comment.
Interesting, but it's a wonderful report. I would like every one of you to read it. You can of course debate the data statistics, but at least you have a report to discuss and debate and even reject what is being presented in the report. But thanks a lot, people, for listening to us. Thanks a lot, Kushal, for your time and coming to my podcast. Hoping to see you soon.
Thank you, Abhinav, for having me over. It's a pleasure to talk to you as always.
Thank you. And audience, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also join as a member to support the channel. See you soon.